Hey guys, Apple just launched iOS 7. Here's our initial impressions and a quick walkthrough of the whole new interface. The minute you power on your phone, you will notice new elements on the top of the status panel. In the lock screen, you can now also pull out Control Center, which we're going to talk about in some time. And you can also pull down the notification panel, which also we're going to talk about in some time. You can also access the camera like you could earlier, but now you get a better camera application, which we'll talk about in some time as well. If you scroll towards the left, you can see the unlock screen. If you don't have a passcode, it'll simply unlock the device. You can see now the icons flow in as opposed to the earlier operation. Pull down the notification panel and you see a completely different design. You now have a today screen that shows all your today information, including today's stocks, today's reminders, etc. You can also go into all your notifications as well as missed notifications for phone calls, messages, and other notifications that you might have missed. Pull out Control Center from the bottom. These are things that you always wanted on your iOS device. You can quickly toggle airplane mode, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, change your brightness, lock the rotation, and even put the phone in Do Not Disturb mode. You can also access your music controls from here, and no longer double tap is required. You can also select who you want to AirDrop with and which device you want to AirPlay with, or which device you want to share with in terms of AirPlay. At the bottom you also have quick toggles for flashlight, the clock, calculator, as well as a quick launch for the camera. Come back to the home screen, you will notice that all applications go directly back to the icon, which gives it this really nice and unique looking animation. Let's start off with the messages application. The overall interface looks nice and clean, and you have a completely redesigned layout as well as look. The message bubbles are rounded, and you also have a new keyboard that is slightly easier to type on, I believe. You can also attach photos and videos as you could earlier. Text is thinner, everything is more squarish, but when you send the message, it comes in this animation. It almost flows out of the text bar into the bubble. Hold down on one of the messages and you get an option to copy or select more. When you do that, you can select multiple messages and forward all of them together. So instead of forwarding one message at a time, you can forward multiple messages in the same menu in one single action. Now when you swipe your messages, you get a newer design of the delete button. When you also press on edit, you can select multiple messages, but if you decide not to delete the conversation, you get this sort of turned knob on the left. The use of red and white is reminiscent throughout the user interface, and when you go into a new message column, you can also see the keyboard in horizontal format. Notifications now come on a black background, and you can quickly tap on them to go to your references as you would on iOS 6. Your notifications will also show up in the notification panel. Now instead of tapping on the back button, you can also simply swipe towards the left to go back to your conversations. This animation is really fluid, and you don't see any lag while you're swiping through. The same thing applies in email, but when you slide through a email conversation, you get a delete button as well as a more button that allows you to reply forward, flag, mark as read or junk. You can also access all your mailboxes together and move them around as per your requirement. The idea here is to show you the UI elements. Everything is thinner, more minimal, based mostly on white and red, which are the two more common UI colors. You can also see the 3D floating icon animation that you have throughout the UI. you can simply move your phone around and you can see the wallpaper in the back sort of flow through. We did a review of an app similar to this, which was a jailbreak app long time ago. Maybe you can see it on our channel. You can see the same animation in the lock screen as well. If you focus around the clock, you should be able to see it more clearly. When you're typing on the lock buttons, you will see the same color as your wallpaper, so it sort of takes the main color of your wallpaper and shows it in the buttons. It also does that in the dialer as well. In the dialer, you can see a transparent sort of design which actually shows you the wallpaper that you have on the background. Once you do initiate a call, you see completely clean interface this time around. When you tap on the speaker, it's slightly difficult to know that the speaker has been selected. Maybe they'll change that in the final version of iOS 7, but certain things are slightly more difficult. Tapping on icons, tapping on buttons requires a lot more precision, and the colors are less visible, so it makes it difficult to know whether your phone is on speaker or on mute, and you might miss that as opposed to knowing that in the previous design. From your call logs, the information button on the right is extremely hard to tap. As you can see, I tried multiple times to get to it. Once you do get to it, you can conveniently scroll to the bottom and block a particular number. Now you can do this in the messages panel as well as on the FaceTime application. Once you simply block the caller, this number will no longer be able to send you messages, initiate FaceTime calls with you, or even call you on your phone. The user on the other end simply gets a busy tone. The contacts list is more or less the same. You do have navigation on the right as you did in the previous version. You can also access your favorites as well as your voicemail in countries and on carriers that visual voicemail is available. If you look at folders now, you'll see a more translucent sort of design. You can see the back wallpaper very clearly, and you also have pages, so you can have multiple icons in a folder. So like I've created a social folder, I have 2 pages of apps over there. The multitasking panel has also become a lot more easier. Switching between apps has never been easier on iPhones and iOS devices. Along with the card of the application that's running, you also get an icon at the bottom along with the name, so that in case just by looking at the card you cannot make out which app it is, the icon will help you in that scenario. The calendar is also reminiscent of the white and red designed elements. You can also switch back to year view or come back to the main calendar month. Tap on a date and you get the appointment list. On the bottom there is a convenient today button that allows you to jump to today. You can also check your inbox for invitations on the calendar, and you can also look at your replied invitations. The Photos app was also shown off during launch. If you tap on the leftmost Photos icon, you get into your moments. You can see your moments by date and by location, so you can conveniently search for your images. So for example, I was in New York, Clinton. I can just tap on that and go to all my images from that particular area on that particular day. Now I can also share photos via AirDrop, Mail, iCloud, Twitter, and Facebook. I also have Flickr. On the bottom you can copy, put it on a slideshow, transmit it via AirPlay, assign to a contact, use as wallpaper, or print the picture directly from here. I'm just going to set it as my lock screen wallpaper. If you come into collections, you can see your collection of photos, so you get a larger view of all your images. You can scrub through them and look at particular images from your moments. The camera app has been completely redesigned. You have a more flatter design. Scrolling or simply swiping left or right will let you navigate from the menu. So swipe left for video, come back to photo and tap on the little icon at the bottom for high dynamic range photography. Swipe right again and you get Square, the new design 1x1 photographs that you use on Instagram. Tap on the bottom right and you get filters. 8 new filters that you can add to your images. Can't see them? Let me quickly pull out Control Center, turn the brightness up so that you guys can see those filters again. It's actually become a lot more convenient for us. The Panorama feature is also still there. Swipe further right and you get to that. The bottom left button lets you go back to your gallery and take a look at your camera roll in the traditional fashion. The new Passbook application is also nice. You get a new design and new colors. You can see that I have $0 on my Starbucks card. Maybe you guys can send me some money. Apple says Maps has been redesigned. Nothing new in India or in New Delhi. Let's shift to something that does have a flyover view. Graphics do seem a lot more crisp, but people who are using Maps in these areas would have better indication. Plus, you do have Google Maps as an application, and that works a lot better than iOS Maps. The design element is also prevalent within the Maps application. But apart from the design, everything else is more or less the same. Once you do tap on the share button, you can share your location via AirDrop, message, mail, Twitter, or Facebook, and you can also add it as a bookmark. Videos are more or less the same, but the video player is slightly changed. When you do tap on a video, the overlays are now translucent, so you do continue to see your video through the overlays. Again, it blends in with the design element of iOS 7. Tapping on the knobs and dials is slightly more difficult. A lot more precision is required. That may be fixed when iOS 7 is finally released. Your AirPlay button remains on the bottom right, so you can simply tap and share to your devices. You can also still access Control Center while playing videos, which remains convenient as ever. The weather application was shown off during launch as well. It has been completely redesigned. Tap on the weather to get humidity, chance of rain, wind direction, and what it feels like, and also scroll through your remaining weather locations. If you do have something exciting happening in your city, you do get an animation of that behind the name. So you can see this is cloudy, you can see clouds moving through. Tapping on the information tab loads up all the cities in this nice new format where you get time as well as weather information. Maybe Thunder Bay has some thunderstorms going on. Let's tap on that and look at it. Looks like it's just partly cloudy, but you can see the animation in the back, and this animation remains throughout, kind of like the HTC Sense animation in the background. The clock has also been changed. You can see these nice big dials in the world clock. The alarm, stopwatch, and timer have been changed to match the new minimal UI. It's more or less the same. Ain't nobody got time for that. Now, Newsstand is completely different because you're used to a wooden book rack. Now you have transparent sort of tiles that stack your books. Once you access the store, you get to the same app store that you're used to. Again, basic design elemental changes in the bottom, your buttons, and you do have a new button for popular near me. This is presently not working in India. More minimal design elements in the settings panel. You can see that all the menu items are the same, but you do have a design change. The new Control Center access allows you to decide whether or not you want to access Control Center once the phone is locked. The new FaceTime application lets you initiate voice or video FaceTime calls with other users on iOS 7. We did try that out, and FaceTime audio actually works really well. This might eliminate the need for third-party applications for voice calls over the internet. It's time to look at the music application. More or less the same app on the right side. You have playlists, albums, and your songs, but tap on the leftmost icon, iTunes Radio, and you have a completely new interface from Apple. You have live radio that plays for free. You can select from a lot of stations. For example, if you select R&B, you select hip hop and R&B channel, you can set it as one of your favorite channels. Shows up in the main iTunes radio panel, and you can navigate through the songs simply by tapping on the right. Now you are limited to up to a maximum of 6 skips. After that, it does not give you an option to skip through. Tap on the top, it gives you information about the artist or about the station. Tap on the star and you can highlight this as a liked song or a disliked song, and you can also add it to your iTunes wish list. Time to look at Safari. Safari has this new interface. The minute you start scrolling up, it kind of removes all the bars from the top as well as from the bottom, so everything's cleaner. Tap on the URL again to access the bar at the bottom. Bottom right has your tabs. Just tap on that and you can see tabs in this new card style design. Again, you can simply swipe out to remove a tab. You can also access your bookmarks, shared links, and reading list by tapping on that little tab. Again, you can see getting to buttons is slightly more difficult. You need to be a lot more precise. Hopefully, Apple will fix that when the final version is released. You can also now share via AirDrop. So if you have a web page that you would like to share with your friends, you can simply share it via AirDrop. You also have the standard sharing settings. You can also print web pages like you could earlier. It's trying to look for a printer. Oh wait, I'm not connected to wireless. So let me quickly pull out my control center, turn on wireless, and then add my printer. And I'm good to go. I'm actually really happy with the control center. It's really easy to access. Here's what's new, Siri. And somehow it did not work on new iOS 7. Maybe the servers were down. Maybe it's still under testing.
I'm not sure what you said there.
The minute you change your wallpaper, the button elements change. So the main color on the button background changes. For the lock screen, so if you have a lock in the lock screen or a lock code in the lock screen, the color elements of the buttons will change. Just to give you a look at that, I'm going to change the wallpaper to something that has a more prominent red, and once you do set it as your lock screen wallpaper, you will see that the buttons take mostly the main color from the background wallpaper to show you highlights of the buttons. You can also see the same sort of translucency in the control center. The reminders application also been redesigned, almost makes it really nice and clean and colorful. You get your list in this big and colorful font. You can select through your reminders. You can also change colors of your tasks, which is nice. Tap in to write a new task. You can also select when you want to be reminded of this task, where you want to be reminded of this task. And once you do tap on when I leave or when I arrive to a location, you can also access that. So if you want to be reminded to charge your phone when you reach your office, your phone will do that for you. Tap on more and you can set repetition, priority. You can add it to a list and add more notes to your reminders. Simply swipe left to get into the delete section. You can see a glitch over there. That happens in beta stage. I hope that is fixed. I really do hope that is fixed. Now, in case those who are wondering if Spotlight is missing, it's not anywhere on the dashboard or anywhere through any of the panels of your home screen. simply pull down and you get access to Spotlight, search for whatever you want to, and open that application, contact, or whatever search you did. It continues to be Spotlight, but in a simple new design. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. This was our walkthrough and sort of a quick look at the new iOS 7. It's still in beta stage, so hopefully when Apple releases the final version, it's fixed. If you have any questions or queries, do leave them in the comment section below. Check us out on iGyaan.in, catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/iGyaan, youtube.com/iGyaanTV. For iGyaan Networks, this has been Bharat Nagpal. Thank you guys for watching.